Dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yo, what's good, original crew, man? We're back. We got another Ballen. I don't know why every time I want to say a new Mr. Ballen, but we got another Mr. Ballen today. We got top 3 photos with disturbing backstories, part 8. We haven't did this one, right?
Part 8?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Hopefully not. Y'all want to see it anyway if we did. But hey, with that being said, before we get into it today, make sure you check out the links in the description box.
Down below.
You already know where to go if you want the first part. All you got to do is check out down below. Also, if you enjoyed today's visuals,
liking it with a thumbs up.
But hey, man, let's hop into it, y'all. Let's check it out. Let's see what's about. You ready?
I'm ready.
You got adjusted. Let's go, man.
Or disturbing stories.
Hold on. What you pointing at?
Nothing.
You thought that still had the speaker on, didn't you? Yeah, you did. I can see you.
Today, I'm going to share 3 progressively more disturbing stories, and at the end of each of them, I will reveal the picture or pictures that are famously associated with that story. But before I get into today's stories, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right channel, because that's all I do, and I upload 3, 4, even 5 times every week. So if that's of interest to you, please RSVP as single to the like button's wedding, and then show up with a +1. Also subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of my weekly uploads. All right, let's get into today's stories. Soon after the Beatles dissolved in 1969, one of the 4 members, John Lennon, left his native England and moved to New York City. Lennon and his wife, Yoko Ono, took up residence in the Dakota, which is a very famous building that typically houses the rich and famous people of New York. As soon as Lennon moved to New York, he said that he felt relieved because he didn't have to worry about going outside and getting mobbed by a massive crowd of people that were obsessed with the Beatles. There were people that were huge Beatles fans in New York, but they seemed more respectful, and they would ask for his autograph, but they would mostly leave him alone. Mark David Chapman had always been a massive fan of the Beatles with a particular interest in John Lennon. But after a 1966 interview where John Lennon kind of off the cuff said that the Beatles were more popular than Jesus, this soured Chapman's adoration of Lennon. One of Chapman's high school friends recalls around this time frame Chapman rewriting the song Imagine by John Lennon to read, "Imagine if John Lennon was dead." Chapman started referring to Lennon as a poser and said that he espoused virtues and ideals that he himself did not practice. And so in relative short order, following that 1966 interview, Chapman went from this adoring fan of the Beatles and John Lennon to really solely hating John Lennon and everything he stood for. By 1980, it's safe to say Mark Chapman had become obsessed with John Lennon. Specifically, he had become obsessed with hating John Lennon. In October of 1980, Chapman quits his job as a security guard and flies to New York City. For 2 months, he stayed in the city and didn't really do much of anything. He would just periodically walk past the Dakota where John Lennon supposedly was living, but beyond that, he really didn't do anything in the city. But that would all change on December 8th, 1980. On that day, Chapman went to the Dakota, and he stood right outside the entrance to this building and just waited in hopes that he might run into John Lennon. At 5 p.m. that day, John Lennon comes out with his wife Yoko Ono, and they walk right past Mark Chapman, who flags them down, and he asks John if he can have his autograph. And John Lennon, even though he has a limousine waiting for him, and there's people that are starting to notice that, oh, that's John Lennon, people are coming over, John still took the time to sign an autograph for Mark Chapman. He was very friendly with Mark and asked him if this is enough. Do you want anything else? And Mark said, no, that's it. That's fine. And John Lennon said, okay, take care. And John and his wife Yoko Ono turned and went into the limousine and they drove away. When the couple got back to the Dakota that night, Mark Chapman had not left. John Lennon and Yoko Ono get out of their vehicle and they walk past Mark Chapman.
What'd you do that for?
I was just like, bro, but no.
Like that he ain't love?
Yeah, I would have.
I know the story.
I think I kind of
know some of the story. Not, I don't know the details.
I don't know everything, but I've heard it before.
Chapman had not left. John Lennon and Yoko Ono get out of their vehicle and they walk past Mark Chapman, who's standing right outside the front door. It's unclear if Mark and John had any interaction, but as soon as they passed Mark and were making their way into the building, Mark Chapman drew a gun and shot John Lennon 4 times in the back. And John Lennon staggers into the lobby screaming, I'm shot, before collapsing and dying.
Wow.
And Mark Chapman, he knew what he was doing. He just stood there, put the gun back in his pocket, and just waited to be arrested. Chapman's lawyers wanted him to plead insanity, but he refused and instead said, I was totally sane, I knew what I was doing, I chose to shoot John Lennon, and I plead guilty. And he was given 20 years to life in jail. And while he was in jail, he would admit that the only reason he did that was to become famous. That was it. This is the picture of Mark Chapman getting that autograph from John Lennon in front of the Dakota just hours before he would gun him down. He's still in jail today, and he actually just had his 11th parole hearing last month in August of 2020, and it was denied.
The main reason why, because if you see the photo of him getting an autograph, right? I think it was too many people around. I think it was at that moment. I think one thing he wanted to do is verify that John does stay here. This is the place, because I think he always knew, but I think he wanted to verify.
Yeah.
I think he would have took the opportunity that first time. I think it was just too many people around.
Yeah.
And his intended target was only John, but with so many people starting to gather around, it became risky for other people's lives.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. That's just a theory I have. But I don't know what the main mind, because, he said he just wanted to get famous. I don't think fame was like the initial.
Yeah, like, I don't know, but you just never know with people.
People are weird in this world. Don't get that twisted, but you never know. But I don't know.
On July 17th, 2014, people at Amsterdam's bustling international airport began boarding Malaysian Airlines flight MH17 that was bound for Kuala Lumpur. The 283 passengers on board were from all over the world. Some were traveling for vacation, some were going home, others were just traveling for business. In addition to the 283 passengers, there were also 15 crew members that rounded out the flight to a total of 298 people on board MH17. One of the passengers, before walking down the runway to get on the flight, took a picture of the plane itself and uploaded it to Facebook and kind of jokingly captioned it, "If we go missing, this is what it looks like," in reference to another Malaysian Airlines flight, Flight 370, that had actually gone missing just a couple of months earlier. Once the boarding was complete on MH17, one of the passengers on board uploaded to Instagram a short video of passengers stuffing their luggage into bins and the captain coming over the intercom saying that, boarding is complete and it's time to turn off your cell phones as we prepare for takeoff. A 15-year-old Dutch boy named Gary Slock and his mother Petra had just sat down inside the plane and they could barely contain their excitement. The pair had signed up for what they were calling a vacation of a lifetime with a group that took single parents and their children on these lavish vacations. Gary, who was the goalkeeper for a soccer team, had been telling his family how jealous his teammates were of this trip he was about to go on with his mother. Before Gary turned off his phone, as instructed by the captain, he took a selfie of he and his mom grinning ear to ear, excited about their trip, and he uploaded it to Facebook for his friends and family to see. Gary turns off his cell phone, puts it away, and he and his mom sit back and get ready for takeoff. The plane takes off without a hitch. It gets up to cruising altitude, and it's going to be a long flight. It's about 12 hours from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur, and so everybody on board is kind of settling in. They're getting their iPads out. They're getting a book out maybe. The crew is making their rounds, offering snacks and drinks, and people are looking out the window. It's a beautiful day, and everyone's just kind of settling in for a long flight. About 3 hours after takeoff, around 4 p.m., the captain of MH17 got in touch with air traffic control at the nearby airport, which was in Ukraine. The pilot told controllers that everything was fine. He was flight level, 33,000 feet. The controllers acknowledged that and said, hey, there's a little bit of air traffic in the direction you're going. You need to reroute your course very slightly. The pilot acknowledged this change in course and was beginning to tell them what he was going to do next when he cut out. The controllers on the ground in Ukraine began hailing MH17 to try to get the captain back online. They couldn't reach him. The plane had sent no distress signals, and over the course of their communication, the controllers had not noticed anything abnormal. And so this sudden radio silence really didn't make any sense. Yelena Brichenko was a 20-year-old bank teller living in Ukraine who happened to be looking up right as MH17 was flying overhead. She would later say that what she saw would haunt her for the rest of her life. As she was watching, MH17 just explodes, and the people inside of the plane very clearly get ejected out of the plane. And she's watching as these people and bits of plane are falling from 33,000 feet, and they come crashing down in this huge fiery inferno. The theory, backed by US intelligence, was that pro-Russian separatists could have fired a missile at this plane thinking it was Ukrainian military. It was not. It was just civilians. All 298 people on board MH17 perished, including Gary and Petra. This is the selfie that Gary took moments before takeoff with his mother as they were excited about their vacation. Family and friends that saw this picture on Facebook would say that this image perfectly captures Gary's wonderful personality and the love that Gary and Petra had for each other.
It's so sad.
What the fuck? So I wonder, was that factual that they got hit by a missile?
Yeah, like yeah.
If that that's fucked up.
Were they ever able to actually determine if that's what caused?
Cause you just don't go out of communication, like just, and you over land. Like at sea, I'm like, I don't know, cause the other Malaysian flight. Bro, I don't know what's up with these planes. But I know the common thing is plane don't crash as often as car crashes. Yeah. But there's not as many planes in the air that there are cars. You know what I'm saying? So trying to compare the two is like comparing apples to oranges. You know?
Yeah.
But I mean, a car only carries up to 5 people? A plane can carry over 300 people, right? So that's still,
That's sad,
oh Lord, man. RIP to all of those individuals, all 298 individuals that tragically lost their lives over what?
Over what?
Stupid ass people, bro. There's a lot of stupid ass people in this world. I mean, a lot of them. And a lot of them carry political power. For fuck's sakes, why? Why are we putting some of the dumbest people in positions that fucking ruin the world? And I mean, every country, every place around the world. And that shit's stupid, bro.
From the outside, Bart Whitaker appeared to love his family. He and his younger brother Kevin were extremely close, and Bart and his father shared a passion for long-distance cycling and would often go out and bike around the neighborhood together. Bart's family would regularly go on vacation to places like Cancun, and the pictures of Bart with his family on these vacations are always him beaming with happiness and love for his family. On December 10th, 2003, Bart, who was 23, almost 24 years old at the time, made a special announcement to his family. He told his family that he had just finished taking his final exams of his senior year at nearby Sam Houston State College, and that he was going to graduate. Bart was not a natural student and frankly struggled in college, and so this was a really big announcement, and the family was really excited for him, especially his parents. And so they said, we have to go out and celebrate. And so they went out to a restaurant, and they're having this really expensive, lavish dinner, and in fact, his parents had bought a really nice Rolex watch to give to Bart if he were to graduate college. And so here he is announcing it, and they thought, you know what, now's a good time to give it to him. They give him his Rolex, and they're asking people at nearby tables to take their pictures, and everybody just seems so happy, and the parents are so proud of Bart. After they finish dinner, they're all smiles, they pile back in the family car, and they start making their drive back to Sugar Land, Texas, where the Whitaker residence was. It was inside of this upper-class suburb about 40 minutes away from Houston, Texas. On the drive home, his parents are endlessly talking about how proud they are of Bart and how excited they are for his future. They get back to their house, they pull in the driveway, and Bart's brother and parents make their way up to the front door. Bart is behind them and he says, "Hey, I forgot something in the car." He turns around and goes back to the car as his brother and his parents walk into the house and are immediately gunned down by an assassin waiting inside of the Whitaker residence. Bart hears the shooting and runs back inside the house. He sees his family is down. He ends up wrestling with the shooter, who ends up shooting him but hits him in the arm before escaping the house. A neighbor hears the shooting and runs outside and sees this chaotic scene. They call 911. Police show up and Bart's brother, Kevin, has passed away, as well as his mother. They both died on scene. As for Bart and Bart's father, they would go to the hospital and they would both make a full recovery. So this huge investigation is launched to figure out who this assassin was and why he was attacking the Whitaker family. And quickly they discovered that Bart Whitaker had hired him. Bart Whitaker wanted his family killed so he could take their money. And he had the assassin shoot him in the arm to make it look like, this was not his fault and he wasn't involved. Here's a picture from the night they were out celebrating Bart's big accomplishment that he had finished his final exams, except Bart was a total liar and he had stopped going to classes ages ago. He was failing every class and was not even close to graduating. In this picture, Bart knows that the assassin he hired is currently sitting in their house, waiting for them to return when he is going to open fire and kill Bart's family. The people in this picture with him are going to be murdered literally hours later, and he knows it. Bart was convicted in 2007 for hiring the hitman and was given the death penalty, but 40 minutes before his execution, the governor of Texas commuted his sentence to a life sentence because, oddly enough, Bart's own father, one of the people he tried to have killed, had forgiven him and did not want to see his last remaining family member be executed. So that's going to do it, guys. Let me know in the comments what you thought of these 3 stories, and I will pin the best comment at the top of the comments section. And if you have...
We already knew about that story.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was like, how?
And
how could you do that?
And we know about it in way more detail.
Yeah.
Very much so. He touched right on basis of what it was.
Straight to the point.
Yeah, straight to the point of what it is. But it's sad, bro. Ain't no way in hell I'm finna
take my family out for some money.
Fucking money, and you really don't benefit. And then you still don't get it.
And you still don't get nothing.
Cause Dad's still alive. It's still Dad gets
so
whatever.
Dumb. And he has to live with the fact that my wife and my other son are gone for something you planned.
People are so fucked up in life, bro. So many, but what's so crazy is we starting to hear so many stories like that, dog. Which is sick and insane in itself, and because it's all preventable. It's all preventable, bro. Only thing your parents have provided you with what it seems like a lot. You know what I'm saying? Enough where they worth some money. Mm-hmm. A lot of people ain't worth family members that got stuff set up for them like that. And then you're a suburban kid. 9 times out of 10, they were paying for your schooling. So what's that money going to since you had been dropped out? Or were you you have to pay for school some kind of way. There got to be some kind of financial trail. So how was that going on, And so we got to think about that. And then there is a graduation, but can you fake your graduation? Yeah. I know somebody person who faked they graduated and I'm where's your degree? And they can't in college is different than high school. High school, you can't walk the stage if you ain't graduated. Mm-hmm. College, all you got to do, you get your cap, you get your gown, you say, hey, this is my intended graduation date.
Yeah.
All you got to do is hey,
provide them with your name.
Well, as soon as you put your letter of intent to graduate, when you walk across the stage, all you doing is providing them the name. They just read what you put. Read what you wrote. They don't know who technically graduated or not.
Right, and not until after the fact, then
after the fact, when you need that degree, you ain't getting that degree. So if somebody graduated and they cannot show you their degree, they don't have no degree, bro.
Yeah. So
stop even lying with that shit. It's so easy to prove if somebody has a degree or not. It's so easy.
But I honestly, never mind.
Say it.
I would say, honestly, the people around are the slow ones, so for even believing it. Especially when you have nothing to show
Not
for
in
it.
this case. Not in this case. We just talking about
Not in this.
We talking about some
in
personal.
general. Yeah, something personal.
That she also. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, y'all are the slow ones for believing it.
When
like,
I didn't go say that.
Like the person literally has nothing to show.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, it's such and such girl. No, they have not.
Yeah. I ain't just. It's just.
But anyway, it's just
bro.
crazy.
But RP to the family. You got a whole Rolex. That's how I know they can provide. They provided you with a great. Man, I wish my parents would have gifted me with a Rolex.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, definitely. No, I'm not talking about.
No. I'm
talking about what you brought up, that situation. Because this is totally different. They haven't even made it to like
the graduation.
Yeah,
part.
they just like, hey, he just like, hey, I'm.
Just imagine they presented you with a Rolex at this because they like, oh, you finished your final exam. You finna graduate. Just imagine what they would have provided for you after you, if you had actually graduated. You walked the line and that day.
And if you really just like, okay, I'm not doing well. It takes nothing to sit down and have a conversation, be truthful, and let them know where you are at in life. Like, hey, school is not for everyone.
But also, some kids who are privy to a life like that, they don't fucking try in life. So,
and it's just so sad. I'm pretty
sure they just want everything given to them. So, what do you give to? What do you do with a person who just want everything handed to them?
It just sucks that his mom and his brother had to lose their life because of
selfish gain.
Like, just have a conversation. Like, your daddy forgave you for that. Just imagine if you just came to him, said like, hey, I'm failing all my classes. I'm really not like into the school thing. School is not for everyone. College is not school, but college is not for everyone.
Yeah.
You know
I say this. Yeah, which is true. College is not for everyone, but I always say it's not for everyone. Everyone shouldn't. But I say the experience is for everyone. And
I get you with the experience, but the more because you say that a lot, and I think about it every time you say it. Don't waste money. Don't waste money going for an experience.
If you can go for like a year on scholarship or something, and you find out it's not for you.
Okay, cool. But if that's not the case, which is not everyone's
or you can get some grant money.
But in this situation, it just sucks, bro. Like, you did not have to take your parents out because you wanted some money.
Only reason why I say that because some people
not your mom and your brother
find their passions away from the community that brought them up. Sometimes you got to step out. You got to introduce yourself to new people. You got to be thrown into certain positions, and then you find out, hey, I got a passion, or I got an interest in something that I never even knew it even exists. That's another reason why I say it though. But
I feel you.
But hey, man, with that being said, y'all spam us up in the comments, man. Let us know y'all thoughts about it for us in the comment section down below. But until next time, y'all know how it go, man. I do go by the name DJ New Kid. This is
Sierra Nicole.
We are.
Kid and C.
We are.